Hello. Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're doing well today. In today's video, I've gathered for you some mural and street art pieces from throughout my stay in Oslo, Norway, and I'll just be tracing them, explaining a bit about them, and stuff like that. I'll also leave the location of each one if possible, in case you're interested, in the description. So let's just get started, and I hope you enjoy. Here we are at the first one, which is an eye that's crying, or at least tearing up, surrounded by leaves, white, yellow, and blue flowers, and also some dark shapes like rectangles all around it. It was done by the artist Alexander McNicol, and I couldn't find a name or description or any sort of background on it either. It was just kind of randomly placed there. It's extremely detailed though, especially in the eye, where it seems to be looking up at the sky and perhaps sculptures or buildings. And I really liked how the eye color and the leaves matched in color, so the piece seemed to be a bit more subtle, yet still quite beautiful. Next up, we've got this gigantic one that took up a whole side of a building, and I couldn't find much description on this one either, but just by looks, it seems to be a figure, not necessarily human, that's holding its hands to its chest, and is completely covered in clothing such as gloves, a hat, and a big sort of sweater. The gloves have little diamond pieces as well. There's also 4 tiny dolls tied to its hip and one tied to a shovel at its back. This one's called The Treasure Hunter and was done by a Chilean artist called INTI, who was one of the very first international artists to visit Oslo and paint in his signature style. He's also currently actively painting in 11 plus countries, and he's just got generally such beautiful pieces, and I highly recommend visiting his Instagram. Next up was the very first one I recorded, and I just randomly found it and wasn't able to find a name, description, or who made it. All I know is that there was a blue, pink, and yellow kangaroo jumping around. Next up is a tree on land with a background of the ocean, some hills towards the back, a little anchor on the left bottom, and other small details throughout. This piece is called Livets tre, which I believe means the tree of life in Norwegian, and it was done by the artist Ryder or Ritter, and I wasn't able to find any socials connected to the name. This one was a bit weirdly placed, at least for this video's purpose, as it had a little balcony at the top of the tree, blocking it a bit, and also 2 trees in front, so a side angle definitely worked best here. I decided to include the front view as well, even though you couldn't see the whole thing clearly. Next up is yet another large piece done back in 2013, so it did look a bit faded, but it was made, or at least competed in, or attended, I guess, the Oslo Triennial of Mural Art back in 2013. And I think this is one of the more popular pieces on their website, so you're probably going to find it on there very easily. It's basically an older fellow sitting down in a chair, and this younger girl that's laying down in his lap with his hand on her head, and the girl seems to be holding something, but it's not visible, or it's invisible. While the girl seems to be all normal, you can actually see through the guy's upper body, because you can still see his collar shirt part and the top of his overalls, but you can also see his ribs. And a little detail as well is that his shoelaces seem to be tangled together almost in like mid-air. The whole piece gave me kind of like a sad vibe. I'm not sure if there's a specific meaning behind this, but it just doesn't look super happy. But I absolutely loved all the little and big details in this one. Next one's actually inside a 7-Eleven that I randomly stumbled upon, and obviously there's not much description or specific name or creator to it since it's probably not that official, but I thought it'd be cool to just record it and add it in. It seems to be 3 figures, one purple, one yellow, and one pink that are just walking perhaps on the way back home. And the yellow one is carrying a white bag, maybe like a grocery bag, and the purple one is hugging the toddler, which is the pink one, like a shoulder hug. There seems to be a pink dog on the far bottom just standing there as well, and you can see the moon and the dark lidded buildings, so it's most likely nighttime. And there's also these blue swirls around the 3 figures with black sparkles and swirls. I thought it was a nice pop to the 7-Eleven. It was just all the way at the back. Next one up is a piece of a woman with her eyes closed and face tilted up towards the left, and instead of having a full head of hair, it seems she has like little flowers, leaves, or petal-like yellow things on her head, and the surrounding colors are a mix between green and blue, and I think it works real nice with the glowing parts of yellow. I think this one's called Honeyhead, and it was done by artist Simon Alfredo and Snork, or also known as Snork Own or Snork One. And this is one of the first ones I had recorded, and I truly think it's so pretty. Just the glow and the color scheme for me looks quite pleasing. This one seems to be placed on a garage door as well, and because of the placement, you'd really have to look to find it in the area. I love the little detail of yellow on her eyelids as well. Next one up is probably the one that has the most detail and just stuff in it out of all the other ones combined, and I actually didn't end up tracing as much on this one because there were people around and I started getting embarrassed. Now I regret it, but yeah, anyways, it was done by 3 artists, Spray Decor, Oh No, and Alexander McNicol. And I think you can tell the separate parts of it just by the different drawing styles and different environments and stuff. You've got white, yellow, purple, and pink flowers with vines, a cracked wall with a street corner with different colored buildings inside it, a smoky skull, and right below it, some construction vehicles. Next one up is one of the more simple ones, as it's just a gray cat smiling with its left leg perched up on the wall it was drawn on, and basically just sitting in a slouched position, I guess. The artist for this one is Ugly Logo, and I checked his website, and he seems to specialize in having more simple and bold pieces and actually sells a few of them as well. And I had an awkward angle here and actually had to be closer to the piece because there were cars behind me and I couldn't trace for long enough till cars started passing. Next one was actually pure coincidence since it was right next to the previous one, the gray cat, and I just decided to include it for the heck of it and for perhaps some people that like letter tracing. I later found out that Oatly, which you can see the words at the bottom right, is a Swedish lactose-free oat milk company, so they probably put it here to promote their brand. But I will say it is a bit random. Next up, we've got this beautiful background of mountains with hot air balloons and pink clouds. And it's actually quite a long piece because you've got this rectangular piece right here, but later on I'll show you the other side to the left of this one. This is yet another untitled one done by two artists, Rasmus Liche and Jonathan Chedeville, or Ville. I tried to find Jonathan Chedeville's Instagram, but I think he deleted it, but I found his Facebook instead. This one was quite fun to trace, as at first you see this huge landscape, then when you look longer you'll notice little details in perhaps just the mountains or the coloring and the hot air balloons and just little stuff all around. And I really enjoyed looking at the different colored hot air balloons. That had to be my favorite. We've also got this pot that has many different colored leaves right to the left of the piece I just showed. And I really like the detail here in the pot, or of the pot, where you can see that the pot on the left side of it is slightly cracked. Next up is the second rectangle piece that I mentioned earlier to complete the first piece. This one is pretty similar to the previous one, as it has mountains, hot air balloons, and pink clouds. Just the exception this time is that to the left they have an eagle. And that is it. That's all the ones I recorded. And I really hope you enjoyed the hand sounds, a bit of rambling about the pieces, and just the whole thing. I am planning on doing more of these videos when I get the chance to in the future. So if you have any suggestions on things I could improve on, or just include maybe, let me know in the comments and I'll be sure to take a peek. That's all from me today. Hope you enjoyed again, and just take care, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.